glad you like it. Yay! Yay! And I actually must have changed our overlay there when we started. Oh, that's funny. That is so funny. I had something up here for Christmas, guys, and we've already messed that one up. But hey, I'm in charge of the controls, and that's just kind of what's going to happen for a little bit now. So, oh, there we go. Fixed it. That's the one I wanted.
Look
We're
at
in
you
that Christmas
go.
season. Well, we're in the Christmas season. So, like, I
We
tried to find
holiday.
some that were
Yeah.
holiday, right?
Well, I mean,
Which that
welcome to
is,
all who whatever you celebrate. I mean, we love that for you.
right? Oh, well, that's right. Just holidays, period. It's that festive time of year.
Yes.
And I figured that that would be one that we're probably going to discuss probably maybe next week, just about issues around family and gathering and parties and all the details
Yeah.
that go along with that, the fun parts. Um, but yeah, welcome, welcome, TransParents. This is our second episode. Yay! Um,
Yeah.
my name is Amber Hollowell.
My name is Jenny, and my pronouns are she, her. And if you are not watching this live, you're reviewing. Welcome to you also. I hope that any of our live people will throw some questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. I unfortunately cannot see anything. I had a lot of internet issues today. So I am streaming from my phone
Hit
because
what?
it was just an emergency sitch. And that's okay. Or what if I touch this chat button? See, I don't like doing all that because then I'm like taken off my page. So here we are.
Okay, so I hit comments, and yeah, like so far I don't believe, yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
we've
If
gotten
anybody's
any.
here,
Yeah.
you're dropping in or you come in at any time,
Oh,
say
oh,
hello, drop
India's
a
here. India's here.
hi,
Yay!
drop a hello in the chat. Tell us where you're joining us from. And
She's in North Carolina. She's
yeah,
not far
well,
from me.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So in fact, she hit me up because I had canceled on Friday night, and I canceled Friday night's event a couple of hours before. Well, probably mid-afternoon. And she hit me up and she was like, "I hope you're okay. And if you're not, let you get some rest and you feel better." And I was like, I said, I needed to pull. Well, I knew I needed to conserve for tonight. And if I tried to do both, that Friday night might take me out. And this was
Absolutely.
kind of more important.
I got sick on Friday night as well. I missed work yesterday. I am not a person who misses work. And honestly, I'm still feeling just a little bit, but this isn't exhausting or
Same.
anything. I can sit here. I did take a shower, which is why my hair is so like, because I thought, God, I'm disgusting.
I didn't shower before this one. I did shower, but it was a while back, a couple of hours
Yeah,
ago.
I love
Well, maybe early afternoon, early afternoon. Um, yeah, no, I figured this week we kind of touched on tolerance last week and actually talked about that on Mama Bear, partially because of some things that were said during this episode last week or the show last week. And we had a
By
lot of
said, you mean
comments that were being thrown up.
like in the comments,
Not
right?
between us, but in the comments. Like there were some statements made in the comments that just we weren't necessarily, yeah, that our comment section was crazy last week. I think we wound up having by the end of the show, there's like 148 now because I responded to a bunch. But I
Yeah.
think there were like 118 during the show. And so I'm ADD guys, so trying to keep up with that, like honestly, Jenny was doing better, and I'm kind of thankful at the moment that this hasn't gone like comment crazy because I don't know that I would know what to do with that right now. And that also throws off my line of thinking sometimes. So I didn't
Yeah.
really get a chance to read a lot of the comments until after the show. And there were some comments that were made that quite frankly they were intolerance. They were about being intolerant. Um, the majority of them came from one individual. And some people within the comments were trying to respond and educate and just kind of inform. And I felt like we just needed to kind of address that because it wasn't okay. And with that, so this last week I really had to sit with that. How do I respond to that? How do I respond to intolerance? And when I'm talking with parents who are really struggling and accepting their kids, I know that to get them from intolerant to acceptance, I have to get them to tolerant. And we talked about tolerate last week and how we don't like that word for humans. And I don't. But if you're coming from intolerant, getting you to tolerate it, like, I
Right.
mean, it's a step. I've got to build able to move you. And so my first, yes, Michael is here from
Hi,
Pennsylvania,
Michael.
Toronto, and he says they were intolerant about intolerance. And so, yes, that was true. So what I was trying to do last week is I was myself trying to figure out, okay, how do I respond? What is the best way to respond to this? And my first reaction was, I can't respond to intolerance with his intolerance because that A isn't going to move the trans mission that we have for more inclusivity. It's not going to do anything for the mission. It's not going to do anything for the community. And it's not going to do anything for them. In fact, if I push too hard, that person may be more stuck in that line of thinking and less likely to move from intolerant to tolerance toward that community. And the longer I sat with it, I know that this person is connected to someone within the community and quite frankly should have known better. And the fact that they didn't then made me question where my thought always goes next. Would I trust that person around my kid
Yeah.
to be alone with my kid? And the answer was no. No. And that was it. That was my answer. So I disconnected with that person. Now, if they choose to show up on the stream, live, whatever they can, that's fine. But no, I was not. I wasn't going to do it.
Isn't
And so
that
I
isn't
felt
that
like I was,
always the
in a way,
struggle?
I felt like it was intolerance, but I don't. Yeah, it's not intolerance. Like you can be teachable. Yeah, baby steps like guiding a toddler.
I
But
think that some
just by
one of the
not
struggles there
disconnecting
is,
or by not blocking, I am kind of still allowing them in my space
yeah,
so they can come and listen if they want and still learn. But I kind of said, no, you're not. You're not a safe individual. I don't want them coming into Mama Bear where I have parents that come in and speak about their kids. Because if
right.
they were ever to go up on stage and make some of those comments, if those parents are in the audience, they're not going to come up there and feel safe to speak. They just aren't.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sorry, I have dogs, so this is gonna happen more than once. Hold on.
That's all right.
Anyway, it'll still happen.
That's all
I
right.
think that there's a lot to be said for that as far as like what allyship looks like, what advocacy looks like. Um, because it's real easy to spot some intolerance, right? If somebody says, I saw something earlier today and it was just a very, like it was just obvious. Like this person is obviously not only intolerant, but hateful. And it's real easy to spot that stuff. It's harder when there are people in our lives that maybe we've kind of become, whether we've become close friends with them or just acquaintances, and they say things that aren't overtly hateful. You can just tell this person is very committed to their ignorance. And the
Yep.
things that they will say are really, I don't, passive aggressive isn't quite the word I want to use, but you get where I'm coming from. This very like,
Yep.
I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it in a way that's like, well, I don't necessarily agree with that, but, and
Well, I mean, it kind of like the
like
publisher.
my purpose in life isn't to shut down everybody who doesn't agree with me. That, like, what is that? Then we're just polarized and we're in an echo chamber. What's the
Right.
point? So there has to be some space for that. There has to be some space for, well, I don't really agree with it, but I'm not going to cause anybody any problems or whatever over it. That person's going to be easier to kind of move that needle and get them closer and work with them than is the person who's like, oh, absolutely not. Uh, you know, fill in the blank with all the hateful things you can think, because people certainly say lots of things. But it's hard
Yep.
to know in allyship and in activism and in trying to move this needle. Where is that line? What does it look like? What's the most effective thing to do? And do I just, write everybody off whose mind I can't change? I'm done. If my goal here is to change everybody, I'm in trouble. I cannot
Right.
change anyone. All I can do is continue to try to provide experiences where people kind of come to some conclusions on their own, figure it out on their own, get kinder and softer and more tolerant on their own. But it's tough because then you, like you were saying, this is not just this isn't a disagreement over pineapple on pizza. This is, would my child stay with that person? And it's tough. And I think that's a great conversation to have about like what we do in those times, how to be better allies, how to, what to do with the person who, the most you're ever going to get out of them is, well, I'm not going to be ugly, but I don't agree with this, or I don't believe this, or I don't my very favorite is always, I just don't understand. Well, you know what? I don't understand, physics. I just don't.
I was going to say
this. I know there are people who specialize in it. I know there's a wealth of knowledge out there, but I'm personally not even interested in trying to understand physics. It doesn't.
No.
And I have to, anyway, I don't understand. It's weak sauce. We're not talking about physics. We're talking about humans.
It's
figure
an excuse. It's an excuse. It's an excuse to stay in their ignorance. It's an excuse to say, you know what, I'm going to keep with my beliefs. This is right. Like, I get what you're saying and you can have yours, but I'm going to go over here. And that's the reason why I think you see more and more of us as parents coming out and saying something about it because, it's obvious. There's a giant pushback on it.
And also, it's like, what is there to understand? I just don't understand. I don't understand what there is to understand. People know who they are. Move on.
When I work with guiding trauma healing, I have a line that I know I need to walk away, but it's a personal decision and discernment. It's the same with this as I have no direct experience with it.
That sure sounds like it. Or at least similar. But I don't always know where that line is. And I don't always know walking away from something or, throwing your hands up at something. I don't always know. Unfortunately, there is that drive in myself, and I know it's in Amber. I want people to do better because this is human beings we're talking about. And it's very important to me. And I can't make it important to someone else. And I can't change. It's tough. It's just tough. And so, I have to practice my own tolerance constantly. Even my dad loves to, where were we? We were together recently and he wanted to get Chick-fil-A. And I was like, we don't really eat at Chick-fil-A. And he said, well, how is that being tolerant? I thought you guys were tolerant. And I said, well, Dad, my dad's a conservative. I said, Dad, if you found out that someplace that you ate at, every time you bought a sandwich, they gave 10 cents to an abortion clinic, would you still eat there? Are you being intolerant? No. I just don't want to give someplace my money that may turn around and spend it on something that directly harms people I care about. I'm not into that. And then you get the people who, well, Chick-fil-A doesn't even do that anymore. Okay, well, I'm going to need a little bit of time because decades of doing that doesn't suddenly just go away because you go, never mind, we're not going to do that anymore. First of all, I don't believe you. I don't believe you don't do that anymore. I don't believe you've had a change of heart. I just don't. You made no real public statement about that. You've done nothing really meaningful except, I guess get the word out, and that just doesn't matter to me. And I'm not being hateful.
I even heard about it. So
outside of Chick-fil-A with signs, I'm not, organizing a boycott. I'm just not giving them my money. No big deal. Right.
And that's a great way to boycott. Actually, is where you put your wallet, where you invest your funds.
I don't hate it. If you want to eat their chicken, if you want to work there, if you want to, buy Chick-fil-A gift certificates for Christmas, knock yourself out. I'm just not going to.
Yeah, no, I don't either. It's not a no, like Target isn't even getting my business. So like when you make your line in the sand, you've told me your choices and therefore I respond accordingly.
Cool. And that's on you.
If they change their you know what? Like, I mean, once they change their stance, like, hey, people have the free mind to change their stances and go back and support them again, right?
Like,
Like, once they prove it. And that's
right,
kind of my stance with people as well, like those who are intolerant. When you have those conversations, the ones who are super, super, super intolerant,
right.
then it's kind of like, okay, you
There's
know
not a
what?
lot you can do
That
there.
that's your opinion, right? Well, I mean, for me, it's like that's your opinion, and then I'm going to walk away. And
Right,
then down the road, if that person decides to come back into my space, they still fully are aware of where I stand,
right.
and that, quite frankly, I'm not going to tolerate more intolerance. So if they're coming back into my space, then hopefully that's showing that they're now beginning to get curious enough to discuss, like, I don't know, at least have the conversation.
You know what I
Move
think is
to
neat?
tolerant.
What's neat about me and you, and people may not know this, and not everybody is going to know this just because I say it in this one episode. Amber and I both come from places where we're speaking from experience. We're not speaking like two people who've always just been progressive and right here and done everything right. We've come from our places too. I won't speak for Amber. I will speak for myself. Um, my most embarrassing intolerance has been racism in my past and unpacking that. I grew up hearing that if a lot of a certain race of people were in prison in this country, it was because they were criminals predominantly. And that makes sense when you're a child and you have no understanding of how society works, how the justice system is. You don't understand institutionalized racism. You don't know any of that stuff.
Yep.
Why wouldn't that make sense? Well, if they're in prison and there's more of a certain group of people in prison, it's because that population must be committing more crimes. That's the only thing that makes sense when you're little. And you carry that with you. It's not like that just goes
Yeah.
away your first social whatever class. It takes time to undo that. Then 9/11 happened. And I'm here to tell you right now, it is embarrassing to admit that I jumped right on that bandwagon of, oh my gosh, well, those are bad people who hate democracy and hate other people and hate Christians. Oh my God, clutch the pearls. I jumped on that too. And I was like, how old was I when that happened? 19, 20 years. I must have been 20 years old. And, at 20 years old, we have a lot of expectation that people, oh, you've been out of the house for a minute, like you should be breaking free of your parents' teachings. And it's just not the case.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
It took me meeting an American Muslim woman who actually converted to Islam, married a man. They live in Dubai now. Do they live in Dubai? They live in Saudi now. And whenever I first heard that, this was a person I knew that I said, what are you talking about? Like, how could you do that? They don't respect women. And all these just stereotypes that I believed because
Yep.
when you only see evidence that supports that confirmation bias, right? Then of course you're going to believe that stuff. And it took me having like knowing this person and starting to break those things down. Stuff happened over time. When my son first came out, I was like, oh, I knew I supported trans people, but I didn't know it was going to be my kid. And all of a sudden,
Hmm.
all the things that you think you know about you're confronted with, and you go, am I really the person that I've been claiming to be? Am I really interested in learning and growing? Or am I interested in digging my feet in and deciding that I've always been right and everything I've always thought I've known is right? And how to get from there to there. For me, it took life experience, but a lot of it did come from listening to other people and hearing other perspectives and going, that makes sense to me actually. So that's what we're hoping to do.
I think mine was not 9/11, or 9/11, like you said. Like, my ex was military. We hadn't been out. I think he had been out maybe 2 years, 2.5 years, and he instantly went to actually sign back up because he had never gone overseas. And he felt like here he had done, like, he had all this training and he had never had the chance to use that. And here was somebody coming to America to attack us. And from from his perspective, here's a dad of three very small children. Our youngest was like 8 months old when that happened. Well, 7 months old, 7 months old. And so I'm the mom of three when 9/11 happened. And yeah, like I had, within about a year of that, I walked away from religion,
Yeah.
but I still didn't walk away from the racism and the bias. And I'll be honest, like for me, when I started going to college in my early 30s is when I started to unpack all of that.
Yeah.
Over like a really hard dive for about 3, 4 at least years. Um, Deep dives on religion. And then honestly, what I learned about myself was that a lot of my bias, a lot of my racism, quite frankly, came from my religion. It came from my upbringing. This is evil. This is wrong. Everything was evil. This is evil. This is evil. This is evil. Gay is evil. Trans is evil. Gay marriage is evil. Gay adoption is evil. Like it's all evil.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like it took a lot of unpacking. So luckily I had done that before my son came out. Um, and I didn't, honestly, I didn't shift it. I had the fear for a couple of days of just knowing what the world was like, having remembered my stance against when we started trying to codify gay marriage into law. We started that in the early 2000s, and we didn't do it until the like mid 20 teens, right? Like I think it's like 2015. So it took us 15 years to get there. And luckily, I think I got there before we actually codified it, but it did take me a good curve to get through that myself. And I think now they're just going after the trans rights. This is kind of like just another, it's just another thing to, hey, let's go after this group.
Absolutely.
Um,
You've got to stop doing that. I mean, there are bad groups
really?
that we really can be going after. There are plenty of actually bad groups
Right?
that
Right?
we can all
Lots
stand
of them.
and go, oh, nobody likes pedophiles. Let's, like something. But my
Right?
gosh, uh, but I think we say all that to say, again, I'm not coming at this from a place of looking down on anyone like, well, if you don't believe this or agree with this, then you're just terrible, because anybody could have said that about me. And
Right?
I know better now. And when we know better, we do better. And we're here to help people
Right?
just know better. It was, my dad always said growing up, oh my God, it's still my favorite thing. The solution to the world's problems, love and education. And I believe that. Love and education. Love more, learn more. But now
Yep.
we're in a time when education, first of all, real education's under attack. It is under
Real
attack.
education, real health care, like honestly, everything, like all of those, they're all under attack. And it's
So
just like,
then
what is
supplement their education by just getting online and consuming any kind of content. And I get that. I understand there's only certain things I watch because that's what I'm interested in. I know that person's viewpoint and opinion, and that's what I want to listen to. I don't want to go listen to right-wing garbage. I just don't want to.
no?
But there's something to be said for what you're consuming, and the education you think you're getting might not be accurate, because there's lots of information out there about the gay people, about trans people, about non-binary people that is not accurate. And so you're
No.
not getting educated. You're getting just more garbage put into your mind, especially when you're already kind of open to that garbage. And I think that kind of made a difference for me, was that I was very open to having this washed out. I was very open to like a cleansing of sorts, because I didn't
Right?
like how it made me feel. I could never rationalize, if I hate people from over there, the 9/11 people, then I hate those little kids. If I'm suggesting that it would be
Yep.
okay for us to go just annihilate a country because of what a select few radical people did, I'm suggesting we harm children. and entire communities and innocent people, good people. And I didn't like how that sat with me. So, if you're open hearted to the concept of, wait a second, we're talking about human beings, then there is hope for you. Even if you still have I still have internalized racism. I'm not going to sit here as a white woman and tell you that, oh, all my
Right.
racism is cured because I know a Muslim woman. I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's internalized. It's deeply rooted, and it's a lot to continue to try to work on. But if you're open to it, things will get better.
Right. No, yeah, I think, let's see, Lydia put, actually, her and Michael have put, yeah, we are one, period. We are not better. We are not God. We are one human species. Telling people that we can have our own thoughts, thanks, but not say anything about them while they pontificate makes no sense. It's blind and limited and limiting. And it
Wow.
is. And then Michael put, the line for me is when they are closed off to growing forward. That's his phrase, growing forward. And they become a hindrance, yeah, to my peace and safety of those I care about. And that, it wasn't really I want to teach, but I can't teach. I know I can't teach everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it is about whether or not they can learn and if they want to grow. And I just kind of felt like that situation with that particular person, that was not their first experience. It
Right.
wasn't, they haven't had limited, they've had a lot of direct experience. And yeah, it just didn't sit. The longer I sat with it, it did not sit well. Um, and
It's
you
always
weren't happy
I
either.
am a
Like,
teacher.
uh, oh, I was going to say, you need to do your cilantro,
My
your
cilantro. Oh, that's
comparison.
right.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I actually did a TikTok once, and it was because I don't know, I'd heard about it. I don't know what made me think about it, but there are people who think that cilantro tastes like soap. And I did not I knew that there were people who didn't like it. My mom doesn't like cilantro, but there are people who, and my understanding is they may have like an extra olfactory sensory sensor something. Either way, there are people who think cilantro tastes like soap. There are people who are allergic to penicillin. There are people who think that the worst texture in the whole world is satin. And I don't have that experience. Cilantro tastes like cilantro to me. But when somebody tells me, hey, cilantro tastes like soap to me, I'm one of those people. I'm not going to say that's stupid. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong for that. I'm not going to force cilantro on them. That's just their experience with cilantro. Now, they have the same brain we have, right? I mean, obviously, brains are different. But we all basically have a brain that does what brains do.
Right,
We all have taste buds that do what taste buds do. But their experience with something, I don't know if it's the brain, I don't know if it's the taste buds, I don't know if it's olfactory sensors, I don't have any idea what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Their experience with cilantro is different than mine. Cool. I'm going to move the hell on. But when it comes to gender, all of a sudden that is just off the tip. First of all, gender is completely made up. We decided that if you have a vagina, you're a woman. We decided that if you're a girl, when you're born, you wear pink, which by the way has changed historically. That didn't used to be how it was. Little boys and little girls were all in dresses. You can look back at it, like men used to wear heels and makeup, but now it's suddenly a thing. All of those things, all to say that somebody can have a different experience with cilantro or penicillin or freaking satin or certain sounds are bothersome to some people, to say that that's real, but your experience with your own body has to be exactly like mine. If you have a vagina, you have to have the same experience of womanhood that I do. That doesn't even make sense. Why are we like that? I think it's because I think not me personally, but I think a lot of people are very afraid of what I know, what I've believed being threatened. It feels threatening to them. They feel attacked. I saw somebody today
yeah.
say, as a woman, it was a knife to the heart for trans women to claim to be women. I'm like, lady, why is that a knife to your heart? Like, just go do whatever you do. Like, just go keep living. They aren't bothering you. I don't know.
No, no, they really, it's, yeah, it's so irksome. It's so irksome. to watch the reactions,
Yeah,
the total reactions, overreactions, quite frankly, to something you don't understand, obviously,
right. I don't have a uterus
which
anymore.
is
I'm still a woman. My girlfriend had a double mastectomy. She doesn't have breasts anymore. Is she still a woman? It does it matter? It doesn't matter to
right.
me. She is what she
Well,
said.
I mean, and then they're against like the surgery, any surgery. And for me, I'm just kind of like, but you're okay with the lip fillers, and you're okay with the breast augmentation of normal women, and the butt implants, and the tummy tucks,
All the gender affirming care is just fine as long as you're cisgender.
right? Right?
Then you're allowed to affirm your gender.
Uh,
But if you're not, I mean, of all things, you know, we experience things differently. We can even experience our hormones differently. You know, my hormones do something different to me than yours do to you, even though theoretically we have the same hormones. We're both cisgender women. We have very similar hormones. We have very similar, you know, physical attributes. We have similar
right?
organs inside of our bodies, unless you've had them yanked. Um, but our experiences with them can be very different. And that's really all, in my opinion, limited opinion, the transgender is. They are having a different experience inside of their own bodies, and let them let them have that experience. Let them do what they need to do to feel better about that experience, because I do what I need to do to feel better about my experience. Do you know how much I hate my nose? I hate this nose. Look at this honker. So what I did is I pierced it. I put a little jewel in, a little decoration in my nose. And now I love my nose. She's got a little, sometimes she has a little bobble. Today she's got little hoops. And just let people do what they want to do to make themselves feel better about their own experience in their body. Who cares?
Right? My youngest has a septum ring.
Oh God, so does my son.
Well, I went with her. I went with her to get it done, and I remember thinking I'm going to like fall out in the floor.
Yeah.
And this was after nursing school, so I'd done all these clinicals. Like I've walked through all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, you cannot act queasy in front of your kid. Oh, whoo!
My
And,
son
and
just
she handled it
right
like a
here.
pro.
Girl, I'm like, how
No,
what hurt? I'm like, you
this
can see
was
my
through I mean, hers is through like, which they didn't go the way they do it. Some of them go all the way up into like the
yeah,
cartilage,
I've had my
and
septum.
this one they don't. And this
Yeah.
one they don't. Hers they didn't. So like I didn't hear the crunching or anything like that. But the girl's like, you might feel like you need to sneeze. And as soon as she starts
Yeah.
punching, like starts pushing it, Maggie's like, I gotta sneeze, stop, stop, stop. And I just thought, oh no, no, not your mother, not your mother.
I
Mm-mm,
hate it
mm-mm,
because
not my
it
jam.
tickled my nose hairs, and I don't like that. So I got rid of it. But
Just the
maybe I
nose. I have allergies, and I am always having to do
yeah.
something with my nose. Absolutely never, ever,
Imagine trying to
ever,
do this.
ever a
Ah,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, no, no. Oh gosh.
I know. I just keep
All
telling
right.
myself I'm okay with it because it's like it's just a hole and it'll grow back if you ever want to take it out. And cool. My big rule is no mouth, nothing around the mouth. I used to have a lip piercing, and now I have a receding gum around one of my teeth.
Oh,
Damaged
because
the
of it.
it wore away the gum line right there. Thankfully, I only had it for about a year, and I went to the dentist, and he was like, "You're losing gum around this tooth, and if you do that for too long, you're going to need gum grafting." My husband actually had to have gum grafting, so now every single time I see like any person, and there's one gal who is on LinkedIn, and she's got her lip all pierced up, and I just want to be like, "Girl, take that out of your mouth." It is going to be his gum grafting. It was on one little tiny area. It was like $5,000.
My
I'm like,
mother, my mother's had the gum. She's had gum grafting. I've I was trying to sit here and think, had I had gum grafting? Because I had like back in 2018, 2018, I had like 6 or 7 oral surgeries, and one of them was to like, yeah, graphic. But it wasn't, yeah, it was not grafts. Mine was actually to saw down the jawbone. So they like peeled, like cut back all of it,
no,
and then sawed it down and stitched it back. that was one. That was one of them. Like it was
No.
brutal, brutal.
Oh my God. Listen, I get nitrous just to get my teeth cleaned. So I'm like, no, I don't want I want to be here. I don't like people that close
Yeah,
my
no,
I don't want somebody that
yeah.
close to my face.
I'm.
Sound.
You could tell me I need surgery, which I do, but you could tell me I need surgery, and I'm like, my nerves are better with that than saying I need to go to the dentist for something. Like the
And
dentist is just not. I don't like. I'm not a nervous Nelly, but
yeah,
I don't know why, but it's emotional for me. Like
yeah.
yeah,
And I haven't had like a
it's very
painful
emotional.
experience. I mean, I've had the same dental experience everybody's had, you know, a filling, I have two crowns. None of it was more painful than, you know, my hysterectomy, but I'm with you. For me, it really is just that somebody's just in your face. You have your mouth open the whole time. They always have to put that special thing in my mouth that holds it open because I naturally keep trying to close my mouth because I'm just
Yep.
rejecting it on principle. And so,
And then you have like locked jaw when you leave. It's like, what is wrong with my jaw? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I
Michael's
love,
got it's
love what Michael has said here. The fear and lack
fear
of
and lack of
understanding.
understanding. Go ahead.
Yeah. That their personal beliefs are not challenged by others having different beliefs, deep rooted insecurities and trauma, shame, reactive behaviors. I agree. And I think a lot of it that Amber has already pointed out before, a lot of it is because we are so inundated with religion and religious propaganda. And you know, there's this idea that things just they were created a certain way and that's how they are. Instead of
Right.
the reality of every single thing has evolved. Plants,
Right.
animals, foods, I mean, people, like all of this continues to evolve and change. And again, trans people have been around for a very,
We
very long
do.
time.
I mean, we do like over our lifespans, we evolve. So if we evolve like
Thank
through our
goodness.
actual lifespan, why wouldn't we evolve as like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It just doesn't. Like we don't become stagnant and just stop.
Right. I am not who I
Nothing
was.
here does.
Absolutely. But I think that there's a lot of people have a fear of change because change is unpredictable. And change means if everything changes around me, then what if I have to change? And I don't
Yep.
know how to be anything but exactly what I am. And, you know, I think that if we can take that and go, okay, well, then what exactly are you? And I've decided that what I want to be at any given moment in my life for the rest of my life is loving, compassionate, um, you know, safe. Those are things that are important to me. Um, you know, so whatever I become, I hope to become better at that.
Right. I mean, that's kind of I think we become what we didn't have, right? And a lot of times when I look at like how I set up my parenting and we talk about things at the round table and you can express it however you want to express it and share it however you want to share it was because we weren't allowed in my household. And I knew the damage that that did to my
Yeah.
sibling and I didn't want to replicate that in my own children. And I knew that my ex and I didn't communicate well. And so that was already a factor. And if we weren't going to be able to communicate well, then the kids were going to be able to see that. So at least needed them to have some kind of outlet to express it. So for me, home was supposed to be their safe space
Yeah.
without those things. So that when they come up with the bullying at school or the bad test grades or they're feeling poor about their own self-esteem or like whatever that thing is that's bothering them, they can come home and feel like they can relax, they can decompress, they can let that out, they can blow off steam, like vent, whatever it is, but that's their comfort.
Yeah.
And I want people to feel like I'm a safe space, right? That when they come in around me, that I'm not someone that they've got to keep their guard up. They have to watch what they say. They have to pretend that there's something else. They have to wear their masks.
Yeah.
And I got that because I wore so many freaking masks for so long. Like my ex just
Yeah.
was very controlling. And so I just put on a mask and another one and another one and another
Right.
one until, yeah, like in my early 30s, I looked in the mirror, and this was probably about the same time that really I started doing the entire unpacking my bias. It was the same thing, was at the same moment, was I had put all these layers on and I needed to get down to who the heck I really was, because I didn't
Yeah.
like this person. I really didn't like this person. Looking in the mirror, that was not who you thought you were going to be. Like, who are you? And yeah, there was a lot of that.
What as Lydia said, reactions are so pervasive that it affects a different person to point. We need to make it our soapbox, our lives, our headlines, our jobs in order to survive. WTF. We need to be able to concentrate on our vision, on our soul, not on making the world knows of choices. Sorry, I'm reading on my phone just so we can feel safe. I hear that.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
Some people make just hating other people their entire personality. And on the flip
Right,
side, anything taken to excess, there are a lot of people who make the activism and their entire personality. And I lost a friend recently to, they chose to leave this plane of existence. And a part of me kind of wondered if it was because they were so engrossed in their activism. And when things didn't work out the way they wanted to, and they didn't see these instant results that they wanted, they just didn't know what to do with themselves. Now, I'm probably way oversimplifying a much bigger
right.
issue. Don't get me wrong.
But we know the cultural environment, the political environment, that just we know the environment
Right.
that the trans community is living in right now is not good. Like nobody can feel possibly safe with every corner somebody is attacking them.
Right.
And that
Absolutely.
and like you said, like the losses on top of that, like that would be that, like for me, and I think that's one reason why when because I've had a couple of people ask me, so does my son ever like talk about trans rights? No.
Either does mine.
Why does that have to take up his bandwidth?
Right.
And that's not what he wants
What
to
is
do,
this? Right. Not everybody
right?
wants to
And,
fight all the time.
well, it's it. I think it's Angela Young. She wrote a post, and I want to say this is about a month ago, and it was talking about disability and about how the disabled shouldn't have to teach you.
Right.
Like they're trying to navigate the world already on their own. There are things that are harder for them, but other people who don't have to deal with those same challenges don't have to make it even harder.
Right.
Just be a nice human being. And I liked what I really liked the post because that was it really kind of spoke to like any group that quite frankly is being marginalized in some way. Why are they the ones that have to educate people? Why can't people just show up and say, you know what, we should be good people? Just be nice
And
to people.
that is, I don't know, but we do. You know, we can all lament all day long that we have to do work and we have to help people understand, and it isn't fair. It isn't fair. But like somebody's going to do it, or somebody's got to do it. Not always somebody's going to do it. I don't know. I don't
Right?
know why we have to do this, but we do. So show up, suit up. But I also agree that, not everybody wants to freaking fight a battle all day long. My son doesn't want to fight a stinking battle all day long. He doesn't want to go to all the marches and do all the things. He just wants to go be a
No.
free person.
Right? I mean,
And
that's exactly what I mean. That's exactly my son. It's just like, why? Can I just live? Can I just do my life?
right,
Like, really?
yeah,
And I do think I think that's and that's and I made this that comment I think last week, maybe in my show, about how like when he changes his name, he will be completely separate of me then, so that even no matter how big, I mean, I guess somebody could always trace the steps, but it makes it less likely for him to be identified, so he can live his life. Because
yeah,
I don't just go out and speak about it for him. It's not just for him. It's for the entire community.
yeah,
Healthcare access is like my jam. Bodily autonomy is my jam, and I feel like you're cutting off people from being able to make choices for their bodies,
right.
just because you don't like how they identify, and you don't get to like dictate how someone else identifies. It's the same thing with cilantro. We're not going to force it down your throat. You don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't like cats, okay, you don't like cats. I don't like cats because I'm allergic to them. And actually,
Right.
I do like them. I like some of them if they're nice, not the ones that bite, aka my mother's. Ubi and I just don't
Mine
get
runs
along.
all day. Meow. Have you seen that cartoon Simon's Cat, where the cat's constantly like
Yes.
meow, meow? That's my cat. That's all he does is scream at me for food all day long.
No, no, no. That's Ubi. Ubi starts around, so he eats at
Name is
5:30.
Ubi.
Huh?
Name is Ubi.
Ubi. Well, it's short
Oh,
for Ubatuba. It's short for Ubatuba, which is a type of granite. And my parents were looking at granite countertops, and this was one of the colors that they were looking at was Ubatuba granite. And so it's like a black with like these little flecks of silver. And my mother was like, "We're gonna call the cat Ubi." Just that was something different, but yeah, because it's Ubie because of the way it's spelled. But
yeah.
yeah, Ubi. But Ubi is an 18. Actually, he's 19 pounds now. A 19-pound cat. Yeah, he's huge, huge, huge. And so when he gets hungry, he gets like up on their arm of their chair at like 4. He'll start, and they have water bottles. No, my stepdad has trained him now by the timer on the phone. So he'll like keep fussing, like, nope, you gotta wait for the timer, you gotta wait for the timer. And as soon as that timer goes off, the cat's like, where's my food? Where's my food? Where's my food? It is crazy. I'm like, y'all had trained the cat. Just he still
I mean,
aggravates them, so it's not really training the cat.
I just want an auto feeder
Oh,
so I can act with this cat. But I love animals. I love all animals, and I am nice to Spencer. But I can't touch him. I can't love on him. I can't let him near me because my husband's allergic. Yeah,
right. So Cooper is here. Hello, Cooper. But he and Lydia are going back and forth.
I love.
Yes, Lydia, exactly. We want our kids to be able to do what they want.
Right.
They shouldn't have to get on the soap opera box and say, give me equal access. Treat me
Right.
fairly.
And
Don't
honestly, that
be
should
don't be a
be
jerk,
us. We should be doing that for the next generation of kids. Because when they're
right?
doing,
So they don't have to go through it.
they just continue to be perceived as, whiny, entitled, weird, all these things. And I'm like, okay, well, then I'll say it.
Right? Right? Yeah, it's not after universal basic income, Cooper. That's funny though, but no. It really is a type of granite. I think it's UBITUBA, like Uba. Or maybe it's UBATUBA. Anyway, it's
Well,
a type of granite,
love the name. Oh my,
right? We pick out weird names. We just
yeah,
do. Sometimes, sometimes, not always. That one's unique. The other cat's name was Cuddle.
that's so cute.
Well, Cuddle Monkey. It was Cuddle Monkey. Before that, it was Chunky Monkey because she was a tortie, and my
Yeah,
mother's favorite Ben and Jerry's is Chunky Monkey,
yeah,
and so she was like the yellow and the brown and the black, and she was a very long, lean cat. There was
yeah.
no chunky about her, so they eventually changed it to Cuddle Monkey instead. But yeah, the Ubi's the most creative in a while. When I was a kid, we actually did have a kitten named Inky Binky Bottle Stopper. Um, yeah, because he was a white kitten and he had like black dots that kind of dripped down his head, down the back
Yeah.
of his head. So it looked like somebody dropped ink on him. So Inky Binky Bottle Stopper.
I love, I love.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, learning how to be a better freaking ally really just kind of means a lot of self analysis and self discovery and asking it, oh, the persecution complex and ease of them asserting that somebody else is impending on their freedom. Get me started.
Hmm.
My favorite art, my not favorite, like my least favorite, my garbage. I keep having to like refresh my computer screen so I have light in here. Please forgive me.
Right, all right.
Is especially cis women who want to come and say that somehow trans women are a threat to them. Right. No, they're not. Shut up. No, nobody cares that you produced children. Like, I don't care. I mean,
Right?
congratulations. I mean, hooray. Like, my dog can do that. It doesn't, why that makes you a woman,
It
and
really doesn't.
that it like kind of, that it threatens feminism, the farts and turfs, the trans exclusive radical feminism. Trans women are not a threat to feminism. How?
I don't
How?
get it. Like most of the time, I'm
First
just
of all,
kind of
you can
like,
be a man and be a feminist. Like, you don't have to,
right?
if that's your argument that some kind of biology is a threat to feminism. It's not. Feminism is also a concept. It's not, that doesn't
Right?
have to do with your gender or what's in your clothes. Trans women are not. I am
Well,
grateful to have trans women feminists. I am grateful for them. They know even better than I do what it's like to be treated like absolute garbage because of your gender. So they
right?
absolutely belong in feminist spaces, 100%. So do trans men. So do cisgender men. All people belong in the feminist space.
Right? Well, I think when you start going into that, people get caught up with the labels, right? Like, and we will do an episode on the trans label and its importance. But there are some labels that people just get carried away with, right?
Yeah.
Or they get stuck in that label that you're an other, you're not what you're supposed to be. So you don't belong here. You're pseudo. Like
Yeah.
I can't remember who said that, but I did have somebody who told me that one time. And instead of trans, it was like they were pseudo. And I was like, um, again, you don't get to project
Right.
project your beliefs, opinions.
Yeah. Go live that and let it,
Yeah, yeah,
just go do you. But if it's harmful to people, we're coming for you.
right, right.
We
Like
may not
not.
you, but we are trying to change the landscape so that your
Mhm.
garbage stays on your side of the street. Like, you keep that. We don't want that all over here. This is a beautiful space.
No, and I think the more I sit with it, I'm still not sure because we never they gave me never gave me a follow up on what happened with their YouTube channel. But I do wonder if that was why we got pulled. If somebody reported the show already, just trying to because they didn't want the transgender out there. Like, nope, nope, can't have this out here. Pull it down. Yeah, because at first, I mean, when they sent it, I was like, spam, scams,
Yeah.
deceptive practices. Where did we deceive anybody? We
Right.
flat out transparents. There's nothing hidden.
Right.
Like nothing is hidden.
It'll work out. We just gotta, you can't give up. And maybe we need a YouTube expert kind of person on our side to help us navigate that. You
Oh, oh,
no,
don't, no,
are.
no.
No?
You don't. I have gotten hit up by at least four this week. Oh, I've been to your YouTube channel. Would you like some for blah blah blah? I can bring in all the views and all the. And I'm like, nope,
No. I would like some
nope.
help. No, I can't pay you.
Well,
Sorry. We'll figure it out.
it's not just that. I don't know what type of help that people are offering, quite frankly, and I would rather grow organically and know that people who want to come here are here and not you
Yeah.
just put something out there and a bunch of people who were curious came and popped in. Like I want people who are really interested in the topic. That's who I want to be able to show up to the
Yeah.
rooms. And so no, I don't really want to like blast it in that way. Because yeah, no, I've got
I
lots
bet you.
of them have come out. I think I had one earlier this afternoon who came out and was just I didn't even read his email. He sent me like seven in
You
a
know what?
row, and when I added him, he
Maybe they
said YouTube, and I was like maybe. But then when he started sending me all that, I was like, dude, I don't. This is not. I didn't do that so that you could hit me up and offer me services,
But yeah,
and I
I
should have known.
that somebody needs that, and I believe in meeting a need and providing a service. I mean, I'm in sales. I totally get it. I would hit somebody up if I saw them like, hey, I have land and I want to build a home on it. And I'd be like, hey, have you considered a manufactured
Well,
home?
I think one of them made the comment. He was like, "Well, you don't have a very big audience," and I was sitting there thinking, "We've had one episode."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not to be like, I'm not trying to be dumb.
Uh-oh. Am I frozen or
Coming
is it
back,
okay?
no, no, I
Okay.
think that was me. I don't know why that was me, but I think that may have been me. I forgot
That's
to plug in number one my battery, and so I just got like, ding, turn on your battery, and I was like, oh, let me plug that in real quick. So
I,
cuttlefish. That actually, no, that would be that one. Well, that was
yeah.
cuttlefish. That would be a solid name. She passed though, Cooper, like a month ago. Um, I loved the cat. Loved her. That cat I loved.
Yeah.
Not the other cat, but that cat I loved. And she actually she was over 18, beyond
Oh,
her time. Bless her heart.
love it.
But
Love
that
it.
cat, woof, woof. No. And now I got a Jack Wawa that, is in progressive heart failure. And
In here. I don't know.
like every time I turn around, it's like, watch the breathing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, not cool. Not cool. She's not even 12, like right at 12, and that's young. And so it's my oldest, it's my trans son's kid or dog. And
Yeah.
this is his kid. That's his baby. So he's like, I'm supposed to get more than 12 years. And yeah,
Yeah.
not, yeah.
Oh no.
You know the hiccups.
Eddie.
That's all right. That's all right. If it keeps going, we could I'll just do the outro. We'll go.
It's been a
Right?
good for this. We welcome all into our space, but please understand if you are
Right.
going to, excuse me, continue to just ride the I don't understand, I just don't understand horse. Well, you know what? Go. There's a solution to not understanding something. I don't understand
Yeah.
physics. I study physics. I can go learn from an expert in physics. There's information out there. We're not going to be your only source. We're also not going to deal with just like, if you are committed to just staying ignorant, I mean, that's sad for you. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
ultimately, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but I still just honor and accept and go, well, that I may not
You
understand it.
try. I mean, you try.
Right.
That's the point. Like when you show up to something you don't understand, the whole thing is to listen to somebody has got a little bit of knowledge about it to glean from, and you
Because
can
otherwise,
glean
you're
from
really,
us.
I just don't care for it. I just don't want that. I understand conservatism very well. I grew up in it. You do too. I don't want anything to do with
Right?
it. And that's the honest truth.
No,
I'm not going to be like, I just don't understand. I do understand. And I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. So, am
no.
I intolerant? Maybe. Maybe. I don't have
We're
tolerance.
intolerant. We're intolerant of intolerance.
Yeah. I'm intolerant
But
of
I
what.
mean, well, I mean, hopefully that won't happen again. I can't say that, it won't. Things
It
happen.
will, especially if we go YouTube. Girl, we're going to get plenty of hate and plenty of ugliness. It's just going to happen. It's the nature of it. Oh, well, move on. I mean, okay.
Cooper, what is a woman pretty much sums up the BS notions that the meaning of what a woman is has to be dogmatic and biological and role based.
Get
Yeah.
me started.
See, this is the reason why Cooper shows up on Insomniac Theater. Like he keeps me going the whole night. Honestly, like pops them off like that.
Sure.
But we are rolling here at the end
Sorry, that
of
was my
our
Sunday night alarm
time.
to take my trash out.
Take it out. Take it
Oh
out when we're
no, I
done.
can't hear
Take it
you.
out.
That figures. It's okay.
Really?
You know what? It's because I
You
touched my phone.
muted. I
I
think
love
you
you.
must be muted.
I'm just gonna shut up for the rest of the show and we'll get on out of here.
Okay. All right. With that said, now that Jenny can't hear, she must have muted herself on her phone. We will be back next week at the same time, 7 o'clock. Catch us here at TransParents. Thank you for having us. And with that, I'm going to roll this out if I can find it. Ha ha.